Hey guys, welcome back to Garage Gamers. We're here to talk about consoles, particularly what, Zorbz?
Variation consoles.
Variation
Yeah,
consoles.
they're not new consoles in the way of a new generation.
Like you get a console which varies between Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, it's like variations. It's like, oh, we're going to slightly make this one smaller, or we're going to add a little bit more to it.
Yes, and it's happening a lot now, isn't it?
We've got a Xbox One S.
Yes, we do.
What does that sound like? Oh, a new phone.
Yeah.
And then we got
next one's the iXbox S.
yeah, imagine they
Plus.
partnered up. Oh, God. What do we got? PS4 Slim and PS4 Pro. And then next year, we got the Scorpio.
Yep.
Which doesn't have an official name yet.
And that's just those two consoles. Then we've got the Nintendo, what's it called?
NX. Which, again, that's probably going to change the name as well.
Yeah. And there's probably a Nintendo NXS.
I think they're just going to stick with that one for a while.
Yeah, probably a good idea. So the main thing that we wanted to do is kind of compare the power of the Scorpio and the PS4 Pro, which are the big exciting ones coming up. Obviously the Xbox One S is out already, you can go buy it now if you want. But I just think it's absolute madness to go at E3 one year, announce this amazing new console, the Xbox One S, it can do all this stuff, and then in the same show say, by the way, there's an even better one coming out a little bit later if you want to let it, called the Scorpio. Yeah. I just thought, well, I was going to get the Xbox One S, but you just announced the Scorpio, so I'm just going to let that one slide and go with the Scorpio now. So, should we start with the Scorpio? What do we know about it, and what can we tell people, and we'll share our thoughts on it.
Okay, well, let's backtrack a bit. So, rumours were going about PS4 Pro or PS4 Neo before a mention of the Scorpio. And so that sounded like PS4's new variation or iteration or whatever was already done before Scorpio was even announced.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about the PS4 Pro until after the Scorpio.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Because I've been hearing about it just on podcasts and,
But they didn't mention anything about it at E3.
No, and that's because Xbox did their keynote before Sony, and I think Sony backed out. Because they were like, wow, they're going to kill us.
Okay, that's good. So that does happen. That kind of stuff does happen. So.
And what validates that further is the PS4 Pro comes out in November. So it would have had to have been manufactured or started being you know what I mean? Like,
you might be right.
Pretty much set in stone already.
Yeah, because you might be right there. Because if otherwise, like, why not say anything about it at E3 and then suddenly have it released so soon afterwards? Like, I think they were intending to wow us with this device, and all of a sudden the Scorpio came out. It's like, you ruined it, Xbox. You ruined it.
And apparently the PS4's specs got leaked. And then I think Microsoft thought, well, we know that we're going to kill them, so let's just do it. Yeah.
Well, maybe it got leaked before the show. Maybe this is what happened. Maybe they had the Xbox One S, and then the PS4 Pro got leaked somehow. Microsoft found out what the power was going to be. And so at the end of the E3 show this year, they go, I know, let's just talk about the rumor of this thing called Project Scorpio, which is actually, we haven't even started yet. But we'll just put the specs out there, so the specs that we put out will just wipe out the PS4 Pro. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, and I'm worried that actually is what's happening, because if they just said crazy things to outdo Sony, then what happens if they realize it's going to be way too expensive? We're going to have another $1,000 console again?
Yeah, well, I mean...
It's like, why not just get a PC then?
Yeah, well, they seem pretty confident about it, because Microsoft's been raging on Twitter about how awesome they are and how awesome they're going to be and how they're going to retake the turf that PlayStation had captured this year. It's all out there on Twitter, and there's articles on it and everything, so... I think they seem pretty confident that they can do this, but, the real details aren't out there. What details are out there though, Zorbz?
Well, so PS4, okay, well let's start with PS4. The Slim is just basically the PS4, just smaller. That's it. No new features, apart from one thing that Sony announced. Every single PlayStation 4 in existence, your old model, the new Slim, the Pro, all of them are going to have HDR. So that gives you better visual quality when you're on a 4K crazy TV. Now, I don't have one of those TVs, and I don't really know anyone who does.
I think they're getting very common now. That's becoming the future.
Yeah, so I guess that's future-proofing for all the consoles. But
not really, because now they've got OLED TVs, which are just even more amazing, and consoles don't even know how to compete, like stay up to date with that.
Yeah. But still, it's for anyone who's got 4K TVs, they get that extra feature if you've already got one. So the Slim is kind of just like, there's no real point. It makes it a bit cheaper, I guess, for people who want to buy a new one. And I guess that cuts costs for Sony, making it the way it is now.
Well, it's kind of, it feels the same to me as like the Xbox One S, you know, it's like, I could get the PS4 Slim, or just wait and get the PS4 Pro.
But the Xbox One S, here's the good thing. So the PS4 Slim...
It's the same.
Doesn't really do anything.
But the Xbox One S actually has a few better things.
Xbox One S has HDR as well. Plays 4K video.
Yeah.
Has a 4K Blu-ray player in it. Which alone, those things are about $200-300.
Yeah, no, that's good as well. But clearly, that stuff's also going to be in the Scorpio as well. Like once it's in one, it's going to evolve to the next.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so already you've got the Xbox One S better than the Slim because it's got added features. Then you've got the PS4 Pro. So it's going. Let's just say we've got the Slim here, Xbox One S. You would assume the PS4 Pro, their next one, would be better than the S. So in terms of GPU power, it is better. So I think it's what, 1.8 teraflops on the PS4 at the moment.
Yeah.
And the Pro is, what was it, 4.2 or something? So it's more than double. Yeah. More than double the power inside.
Yeah.
But they said we can do 4K gaming, but and streaming, but there's no Blu-ray drive in there. There's no 4K Blu-ray player in there.
PS4 Pro. Really?
No 4K Blu-ray player. So you can stream off Netflix.
Yeah, I
now
think
we know.
this just kind of validates even more so what we suggested at the start, that they were so far ahead down the road with this PS4 Pro that when all these things got announced for Xbox One, they suddenly realized a whole bunch of things that they didn't have on the PS4 Pro. Because they've still gone ahead and made it. They've gone ahead and they're going to release it in November this year. It's surely had to have been way too far down the line to have gone back and said, halt the factory, we need to add some things to this and make it better. Because surely had they known what Xbox was going to do with the Scorpio, they would have stopped what they were doing and fixed it so that it was at least on par. Yeah. Now they're just like, look, let's just get this out here, let's just hope it doesn't destroy us, and see what happens. Because in comparison, teraflop-wise, what's the Xbox Scorpio going to have?
So the Scorpio's got 6 teraflops.
Compared to PS4 Pro's 4.2.
Yeah, so in theory, you've got the PS4 as it is now, plus the PS4 Pro, together in one box, that's your Scorpio. And so the PS4 as it is now, if that's 1.8, looks pretty damn good. It's got a lot of power. Yeah. Put that on top of what you've already got of the 4.2 and you get the 6. That's a pretty big jump.
It is.
It literally is combining both of Sony's consoles into one, which makes theirs.
Yeah.
That's a big thing to come out and say, we're not just the same anymore. We are the more powerful system. Yeah,
and I think Xbox kind of learned the hard way as well when they came out with the start of this generation, Xbox One versus PS4. People just learned that the PS4 was slightly more powerful, so everyone just jumped on that PS4 bandwagon.
And it was more easier to, like, remember when Microsoft was like, we're always going to be online, and you couldn't trade games and all that rubbish. And Sony was like, we're just going to be the same old, guys who you can trade your games, you can do whatever you want.
Yep, and everyone's
like, all right, done.
And I'm still applauding today,
But now, flip that. It's like Xbox has been like, you know what? We are more focused on games these days, and they have been, because let's think about it. How many PS4 exclusives are there? How many Xbox One exclusives are there?
There's heaps of PS4's exclusives.
In this year, like what? Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted 4.
Japanese games. All those JRPGs that come out, the real kind of under-the-radar games.
By Sony? I'm talking about first party.
A first party? Oh,
yeah, like
I don't know.
Sony, what are they making?
Who cares? I don't care who's making them, but as long as they're on the console, that's what it matters.
True, but then if those games are on both, then it's kind of like, well, I mean, this year already.
I'm talking about exclusives.
But let's just say first party. So we've got Recore, Forza Horizon 3, Gears of War 4. That's already 3 big games this year.
Quantum Break.
Well, that came out previous, yeah. So Sony's had Uncharted, Ratchet and Clank, and then what? They've got Gravity Rush 2 and Last Guardian, which are right in December. They're not even AAA. Gravity Rush 2 is not a AAA game.
It is to me, damn it. I can't wait for that one. Pre-ordered, ready to rock and roll.
Last Guardian is not AAA anymore.
You reckon?
No.
It's going to sell like a AAA.
I feel like
everyone's really
people
bored.
People are gonna be skeptical and wait for reviews of that, and I don't think the reviews are gonna be 10 out of 10s. They're probably gonna be like the 6 or 7s.
Yeah, but you never know. That's the thing. That's the thing about reviews. You never know until they start coming out.
And now Xbox has got the Play Anywhere thing, which is another blow to Sony. It's like, well, if you own a PC or a laptop, any Microsoft game you buy, you can now play on your laptop or your PC with cross-save. And let me tell you, that is amazing.
I'm not 100% ready to crown Xbox on this whole thing. I think it's definitely the right move. It's what they needed to do, and it's obviously from a lesson learned. They realize when you're not as powerful as your competition, then people will notice, and they'll flock the other way. So that's what they've learned there, and they're doing that, so it's a good move. But at the same time, I'm not 100% convinced that they're as games dedicated as Sony are still. They're still, in my mind, really trying to enforce that this is a all-purpose, all-round entertainment unit, rather than a gaming console. So they're really.
I feel that.
If you look at you just have to look at the interface of Xbox to realize that the games are just kind of amongst a whole bunch of other stuff like media players and all. They want you to use the Xbox One for everything, whereas PlayStation is you really feel like it's a gaming console, but it also has other stuff you can do with it as well. And I think that's pretty important to me. It'd be interesting to see if when they, because I think Scorpio is going to capture this audience. They are going to capture this audience with their device because it's better. They're going to recapture that and gain numbers. But I don't know if people start feeling that they're going to, once they've got that audience, they're going to start reverting back to this all media device thing and start shying away from games again, then it could backfire.
I don't think so, because now they're enticing PC players to play their games as well.
Yes, that's right. And you want to explain that a bit more?
Yeah, so Recore has been the first. Well, it's weird how they did it. Quantum Break did it where if you bought it on pre-order, you got a bonus code to play it on PC for free. Mm-hmm. But that's not with every copy. So what this Play Anywhere thing is, once you own it and it's attached to your account, you can then download it on your PC or laptop for free. Mm-hmm. So with Recore came out, got that, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it on my laptop. Runs perfectly fine on my laptop, and my laptop's, it's good. It's not like the greatest thing, but for some reason it runs perfect on there. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm playing.
When you got the game, does it matter if you got a second copy of on the?
Well, yeah, this is what I was about to say. I was playing Recore, and surprisingly, it's a decent length game. And I'm like, well, I've got a laptop now. Why don't I just play games on my lunch break at work instead of just going on YouTube and just wasting time
instead of working?
I said on my lunch break. I don't, because I get an hour lunch break. I don't need an hour to eat a sandwich.
Don't fire him. It's alright.
So I'm like, might try that out. Pull out the laptop, sync save files, continue playing on there, shut that down, get home, it then transfers back there, and it's like.
Well, that's interesting. There you go, first-hand experiment, guys. So you can actually do that. It's been tested by Zorbz here, and it works like that. So,
and it works perfect.
So you can progress your save file across those two platforms.
Yeah, and because you're using, so you've got, it's on Windows 10. You need Windows 10 because Windows 10 has it's basically your dashboard on your Xbox One on your PC. So everything's there. Your friends, everything looks exactly the same.
Yeah. And
you just go to your games folder, and so whenever you purchase a Microsoft game from now on. Like Microsoft made game, so Gears of War 4, Forza Horizon 3, they'll automatically just pop up. So if you buy it on PC, it'll pop up in your.
So you're saying this only works for the first-party Microsoft games? Yeah. Oh, so if you bought something for for Xbox, say
Assassin's Creed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count.
Right.
Because Steam might have the licensing for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, because it's like. Microsoft have on their store their games and all their stuff that's on, what do they call their version of the iPhone
Who?
phone store, Microsoft. You know how they got the Windows phone that no one uses?
Yeah.
That,
I don't know.
all those apps from that, all the games that you could download, like Tomb Raider Go and all those ones, you can get those on your PC as well.
Right.
So you go through that store.
So they're merging stuff. So
Yeah, so they're doing their phone, their PC, and their Xbox, and they're just all combining it, so you can play everything.
I wonder how much merging they can do there. I mean, you know, Apple kind of did the merger when they had the iPod and they had their iPhone. They go, wait a minute, we can combine these two, and then they just made this merger in this. That's why the iPhone was so successful.
And the iPad, if you got an iPad, you got an iPhone.
Well, it started with the phone, and then they just blew.
Yeah.
Once it got too small, it started getting bigger. It's like, so it worked for that, but you got to wonder how much merging can Microsoft do, because the functionality isn't so tightly fit as Apple was with their merging, if that makes sense.
But
because there's so many things you can do on PC that you can't do on Xbox, and I mean there'll be some stuff they can cross over, but not everything. So, but it'll be good. It'll be good that you have that functionality, but
well, I mean,
how limited is it? You know,
Scorpio is sounding basically like a PC. You know, like an already pre-configured Microsoft PC.
It's like it feels like Microsoft is trying to like recapture all the console gamers that abandoned the PC for the last 10 years and then gradually lure them back into PC gaming or something.
Like I'd be surprised. Well, actually, I wouldn't be surprised actually if Scorpio had a feature where you could put it in desktop view and you could do everything like a PC, because they own Windows. There has to be Windows running on an Xbox. There's some sort of version.
Yeah.
It's got the components of a PC. Why? Like you could totally do that.
Well,
so it's like a portable PC that you just take around with you rather than carrying a big tower.
Just depends how they set it up.
Yeah.
Depends how they set it up.
But I like their approach to saying that everything you buy now will be working on every console we make from now on. So as you've seen with the Xbox 360 games being backwards compatible, now the Xbox One will be on the Scorpio, and then everything on the Scorpio will be on the...
But again, are we talking first party or like everything for Xbox? Because even now,
they don't get to decide everything because they don't own the license for everything.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, maybe if they're setting up the system, they might have to go.
They might pay.
If they might have to like sign an agreement. Like if you want to put this game on our console, then
you have to let us put it on multiple iterations.
They might add a few clauses to those contracts.
They could.
But even now, like they don't have every game on the 360 playable. They've only got obviously their first parties, and they've got about. I don't even know if they've got half the 360 games on there available yet. Every like week or two, there's more being added, and
it's a nice surprise though.
Really, it seems very thin. Like how many they're putting up. Like you think the way they made it sound is like all the third parties have to do is let us know that it's okay to do, and we just have to push a button and it will work. Like your 360 game will work.
It's all about money. They can't just be like, do it for free. I'm sure these companies are like, if you give us X amount of dollars, we'll let you do it.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft's got to be like, is it worth it? You know.
Yeah, and that's why you're going to get those silly mainstream games on there, the really cool ones, the niche
ones.
But
all the arcade ones I really enjoy. Like I've got all my old Sonic games on there. Sega's been really good of just being like, you can put all those.
Well, I still got my...
you can play Alex the Kid on your Xbox One? How awesome is that?
Well, I've still got my Sega Mega Drive collection on the Xbox 360, so that's also on the one disc anyway.
Yeah, so. But if that was if you didn't have to set up the 360 anymore, just chuck that straight in, that'd be cool.
Well, maybe that might be one of the games that's backwards compatible on, I'm not sure.
Hopefully. And you've got like Explosion Man and all those little ones that, if your Xbox 360 dies, they're gone. Like you don't have them on a disc. You know? Yeah,
well, this is why I hated the fact that they were eliminating backwards compatibility in the first place. I was such an advocate against it, because I was sticking with PlayStation because Xbox wasn't doing it, but from Xbox to Xbox 360, they didn't have backwards compatibility.
Well, sort of.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, on the Xbox 360.
Maybe some of them worked.
Some
like
games
Halo worked or some crap like that. But
Splinter Cell did.
But essentially, they didn't. And but PS2 to PS3, they'd been backwards compatibility all the way up to that point until halfway through not halfway through.
Yeah.
About a year or two into the PS3.
And they're like, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, they just gave up because it had so many faults and technical hiccups with them. It was just I don't know. It was just costing too much resources. Yeah. And ever since that day, and it actually is quite astounding that suddenly Xbox had decided, hey, we're going to go backwards compatibility, which is another thing we've talked about a lot on Gamebug before. I was like a massive fan of reintroducing that.
It makes it more comforting as well, knowing that, okay, if my system dies and I buy a new one, they're all just linked on my
Exactly,
account.
yeah.
Then I don't mind this whole digital future, because I know that they're always going to be on whatever next console there is.
No, see, not necessarily. When it's digital, it's all in their hands. If they decide
I know.
we don't want this game to be out here anymore, and there's been many examples of that happening already, they'll just take it off, and the game that you bought is no longer available to play.
Yeah, that
Whereas
happened.
if you're holding the game, you own it, you're sure your system might break. But this is where backwards compatibility solves everything. If you've got like a PS1 disc that just will forever across the PlayStation generations just goes from backwards compatible to backwards compatible. You can still play it.
About hardware backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
You want it to be,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, for example, I think it was Konami made Ninja Turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo. I love that game.
Yeah.
They did a remake on the Xbox 360, like an arcade remake.
I haven't played that yet. Is it good?
Yeah, well, it's good.
Okay.
But it's still good.
Okay.
But it's not on. You can't get it anymore because they lost the license for it, so they took it off the store.
Yeah, and like if you look at app games on the phones, right? If you've got, say, an iPhone 5, you bought an app for an iPhone 5. You need to have like an iPhone 6 to actually upgrade it, and if it gets too much hassling around, they just stop upgrading, updating the game. It's like the game's only compatible for the iPhone 5, so when everyone moves on to the iPhone 6, it's just like it doesn't work unless they retweak it. Costs too much money. It's too old again. They don't care about it anymore. It's gone. So as soon as you delete it off your iPhone 5, you will never be able to play that game ever again.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that the Scorpio doesn't just do some crazy thing and be like, we're digital only.
Then I would get very angry. I'll just put it that way.
I don't think they will, because who's going to sell their consoles? If you tell EB Games, we're not going to sell any physical games anymore, then EB Games will be like, well, we're not selling your consoles anymore.
Yeah, good.
Good. So I don't think it'll ever go away.
Do it, retailers. Just keep the business partnership going. Everybody's happy.
Because Microsoft would only be able to sell their consoles in their stores if they're not offering anything else to sell.
Pretty much. Yeah, then they have to open up retail shops everywhere.
So one thing that I will say, Xbox Scorpio obviously is leading in terms of power. You know, we don't know. Like, they could even upgrade it even more if they wanted to. Who knows? But what I think Sony has the benefit of is, so Microsoft say they bring it out end of next year. Okay, so 2017. Who's to say Sony doesn't go, well, end of 2018, we've got the PS5. And then Scorpio has been like, oh, well, Microsoft was just thinking, well, we just brought that one out, and it was quite a big jump from the Xbox One. We can't bring a new one out already. Whereas Sony had a smaller iteration, so a PS5, if it takes a massive leap, they could do that.
Maybe.
You know, Sony, they might be crazy enough to do that. They might just be like, no, we don't want to be inferior. It's the PS5.
But then maybe like they may not upgrade the Xbox Scorpio immediately, but maybe 2 years later. So it's 1 year later the PS5 comes out, and then they might go a year later the Xbox.
But then they might have the PS5.
720.
They might do the PS5S, or
they could rotate every year.
They're just gonna keep going like that. I reckon.
I actually prefer the generational system. I like the generational console system. I hate these. This is why the jump between PS3 to PS4 and Xbox 360 to Xbox One felt minuscule. Remember how you jumped from like a PS1 to a PS2, and it was instantly huge difference. Yeah, and then same with PS2 to PS3, massive difference. The jump between PS3 to PS4 was so minuscule because they were upgrading the PS3 sporadically throughout its timeline that you didn't actually notice much of a difference by the time you get to PS4. Whereas if you had the PS3, the original one, and then suddenly went boom, PS4, the difference would have been, oh wow, that's huge. Yeah.
Like you're saying, if you played Uncharted 1 and then went to a PS4 now versus Uncharted 3, which looks a lot better than number 1. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Like over the generation of the PS3, games started looking better and better and better.
Yeah, but also the specs were getting better too throughout the generation.
What are you talking about? They didn't change the specs.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
They upgraded the specs like several times. Xbox 360 and PS3.
You talking about firmware updates?
Oh,
because they didn't change the components.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
There's no better video card in the original PS3 than there is in the newest PS3.
Yeah, but I'm not just talking about video cards, I'm talking about heaps of stuff.
But anything I put in my original fat PS3, and then I put in the latest crappy window door PS3, they all look and play the same.
Essentially, yeah. But anyway, you're missing the point. It's okay. Anyway, is that everything or?
Yeah. So I mean, do you think Scorpio is going to be the winner? I mean, on paper it is. I think
they're going to recapture a big chunk of the audience.
But do you think enough to make them the leader again?
Well, yeah. I actually think it will.
Because Sony is ahead a lot.
Yeah.
It's what, like 40 million to 15 million?
I think people will make the switch. I think the evidence shows that people are going to follow the technology at this stage based on what happened with the PS4 and Xbox One. I like the PS4 more for more reasons than just the better tech. I prefer the user interface so much more on PS4. I don't like this cluster of stuff that Xbox is doing on their user interface.
It definitely took a while to get used to.
They think it's easy, but I think it's an absolute mess.
Yeah, it is.
I just want to play a game, and like I have to go, where's the games again? Like
it's over here.
It's like off the screen because they want you to do all this other stuff that I don't care about. Like this.
It's a bit better than when it first came out. I'll be honest.
Pretty much the same, I thought. Xbox 360 interface, though, it was amazing.
Remember the blades? I used to love those.
What?
It was like they call it the blades, where you'd fling them across. So you'd have music, movies, photos, and it'd just go.
Was that from the 360?
Yeah, the original 360 one.
Yeah.
Before it started up. Now the 360 looks terrible. Have you seen what it looks like now? It's not
yeah, you're right. Yeah, they changed it. Yeah.
They make it more complicated. They're like, let's add more stuff, and then it just gets cluttered and.
It's an ugly mess of scattered content everywhere. I hate it.
Yeah.
But anyway, who knows? I just think I like PlayStation's tidiness. I just think it's a bit tidier. Anyway, we'll see how much of a factor that leads in. I think that probably you're right, Scorpio. Well, you're not right. I haven't said your opinion yet.
Yeah.
I think Scorpio will overtake.
I don't know. I think they'll catch up, but I don't think they'll overtake.
Really? Okay.
I don't think so. Here's the question: are you going to buy a PS4 Pro? We didn't even say what it does. So we said, it has HDR, the PS4 Pro. It's got the better GPU. But here's the thing, they're like, we are going to do 4K gaming. And then Microsoft's like, no, they're not doing 4K gaming. They're doing 4K upscaling. So if you have a 4K TV, it'll upscale and look a bit better. It's not true 4K resolution.
It's like the camera that we use to record our garage gamers. It's just upscaling a lot.
Whereas the Scorpio has said we are going to do true 4K gaming, so the resolution will be 4K resolution. That's a big difference. PS4 Pro, again, doesn't have the 3D Blu-ray player. And they're like, oh, but you can do streaming. Yeah, I can't even stream 1080 here in Australia without it like chugging out and pausing and freezing. How am I going to do 4K streaming? Let alone data plans. You get NBN. Oh, 100 gig a month. One of those movies on 4K is probably like 50 gigabytes download. Oh, there goes my monthly download plan of 2 stream movies.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't personally justify the PS4 Pro. I don't think I need it. I don't have a 4K TV, and I just bought a full HD one. Like I just bought a new TV that's not 4K already. So.
Well, you know the main thing I want to get the PS4 Pro.
What? Just
storage space. I'm sick of like having to delete the games on my account.
Just put a new hard drive in there.
Oh, that's messy. Just
laziness. You're just like,
it's just just straight console. I swear I've like deleted 3/4 of my game collection.
Yeah.
More.
Here's the thing. Why don't you add external memory, Sony? Just like the Wii U does. And the Xbox One. If the Wii U does it and Sony does it, what's going on?
I didn't know the Wii U did it.
Yeah, I've got external little portable hard drives for my Xbox One and my Wii U.
You're talking about the SD?
No, not the SD. You can USB into a little portable hard drive.
Okay.
You can't do that with the Sony.
Yeah, right. Okay.
What? Why? Why did they do it? Why has the Wii U got that one up on Sony?
I don't know. Well, there you go. There's something they got anyway.
Well, like, what are they going to bring memory cards out again? Like, we need something because we can't just keep deleting stuff.
I don't mind not having that. Those accessories. That's like to me that's like a PC thing.
Says the guy who just says that you want a new console just so you don't have to delete stuff.
That's right. Well, that's right. I said
you wouldn't have to if you had an external hard drive.
I know, but what I'm saying is a better solution out of the whole thing is give us more memory from the start,
well,
so we don't have to do this stuff.
Let's end on this then. PS4 Pro. I'm pretty sure the highest you go is 1 gig. 1 terabyte. Xbox. The what is it? The
Scorpio.
I'm getting all the names confused. The Xbox One S.
Okay.
You can get in a 2 terabyte edition.
Yeah.
You can't get a PS4 Pro 2 terabyte. What the hell?
That's more evidence.
Oh.
More evidence as to them coming out with this console, and
So
then Xbox coming out with like better advancements. It seems like
we don't know what's going on.
it seems like PlayStation were hoping to maybe do a gradual elevation up the ranks, whereas Xbox went, well, stuff that, we're just gonna jump several ranks and just give you the top.
Yeah, it's kind of like so like if you got an iPhone 6 and then you got an iPhone 6S.
Yeah.
That would be the PS4 to the PS4 Pro. Whereas I feel like Xbox is like, we're just going to go from
skip a generation.
iPhone 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, skip a generation.
Yeah.
Because in phones, even a generation is not that significant, like as if, you know, Xbox 360 or Xbox One or whatever. But it's enough to be better than that little tiny iteration in the middle, which the Sony one is.
Yeah. Alright, I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah.
So anyway, let us know in the comments below what you think. Are you going to buy a PS4 Pro?
I'm going to get an Xbox Scorpio just from what it says it's going to do.
Or are you going to get an Xbox Scorpio? Or are you going to get a Nintendo NX?
I can't wait to hear. When are they going? How are they not announcing that? The Scorpio has been announced, and that's coming out who knows when.
Yeah, although I still think it's a bit vague. But anyway, still wrapping this up. Thank you for joining us, Garage Gamers. Leave comments, like, subscribe. Check out gamebug.com.au.
Leave comments. Talk to us. Talk to me, not him.
I am IceCube. This is
Zorbz.
Yeah. If you want to hear about, if you want to ask us any questions, please do. We'll happily answer them. And
Yes.
we'll see you at the next episode of Garage Gamers.
Bye.
Bye.